Welcome to Because We Can. My name is Jay, an advocate and conscious seeker. Each week, we will explore inspiring messages to help us unlock our truest potential and power within all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. When we believe we can, we are absolutely limitless. Thank you for joining me today. Now let's dive in and see what today's message brings us. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. So, I wanted to talk about how we can start taking care of ourselves a little bit better this year, this season, this month. And the reason why I bring it up is because today, actually, more like a couple of days, I've been just going. And it feels like the days have been going by so fast. It feels like ever since 2020 or 2021, around the time COVID hit, time just sped up and exponentiated. That's the right word to use. But I had to remind myself, give myself a mental reminder that I need to slow down. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this off the top of my head today for our daily talk is because it can be so easy to get caught up in time and get caught up with what we are striving to do and get caught up with how we want to be, how we want to present ourselves, who we want to become. That's a big one for me. I always feel like I'm constantly trying to become something, to just prove to myself something of significance and value. And I still struggle with this, especially now that I have a clearer vision of what I want to put my energy into this time around, this season of my life, which compared to previous periods of time, I didn't have a clue or wasn't as clear as I am right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm still kind of finding my way and finding what best fits me and what I like compared to what I think I should like or what I need to do. But it's still a tricky thing. And last time I checked when I was in college, time management wasn't really my forte, I will admit. So, how do we juggle all of these things with the balancing act of making time for what we want and what we desire and what we need, admittingly, that pours into ourselves, that helps us to light ourselves up and make us feel alive, you know? How do we balance that? And so that's a question I've been trying to search and seek and go down a journey in. How do I make time for me while trying to make time for all the other things that I love and am passionate about and want to invite in and make time for? I feel like probably the last half of 2023 going into this new year, I've really had to take incremental steps towards that understanding of what's important to me, what do I want to spend most of my time doing, prioritization. That's a fun word. What's that? For someone who has had a scattered brain most of their life and is a very creative and out of the box thinker who wants to reinvent the wheel, but is always told you don't have to reinvent the wheel, don't even try. Someone who wants to be original and groundbreaking, trendsetting. Where is the room for us? Where is the room for those kinds of people, as well as everybody else in their own unique way and their own gifts that they need to contribute to this world, right? And so, as a fellow creative, as a fellow person who tries to find the deeper meanings in life, I always am trying to explore, where do I derive my most value and my most meaning, and where I can show up, you know? And so I really do think leaning in to the things that have once scared me and I never thought could be possible, and just taking that chance and that opportunity to go for it, to go for things that I couldn't imagine myself accomplishing, but yet I'm still going to try and do it. Versus before, I felt like I didn't have the time, I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the space. But no, here and now, I'm making that time, I'm making that space, I'm making that energy, because energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted and transformed. So, thinking about that, we all have that ball of energy in us that may be laying dormant and that maybe been sitting there for quite some time, just waiting to have it be cracked open and all of that potential energy to flood out and be transformed into something that is so magical and unstoppable. And going back to trying to slow down and take time to pour back into myself, pour back into yourself, aside from everything that's going on, all the things that are happening in the world, all the people that you're connected to, all the close people in your direct circle. When do we take time for us? And when do we take a moment to take a breath in and out, you know, to where we can relax and rest and recover, recharge before we run ourselves into the ground. I know sometimes when I'm doing my content creation, and you know, I'm still very new to this whole world behind the scenes of constantly trying to create and constantly trying to use those talents and gifts and out of the box thinking sometimes. And I've heard this many times before from fellow creatives and artists and musicians of all kinds and what have you, that it can run dry. And that's a real thing when it's overexerted and overused and not genuinely channeled, shall I say, to where, you know, when an artist makes it big and a film director gets their shot in the industry, what happens then? You know, it's not necessarily coming from that time and space where you had so much time and space to pour into, oh, what should I do with this? What creative decision should I make here? I really love doing this. I'm going to spend all of my time just going through the process of honing this a little more. But all of that's all thrown out the window when people start noticing and people start really liking the things that you're doing, and they want more and there's more demand, and it's like, where did I bring myself to? This new uncharted territory, and now I gotta keep up. Now I gotta continue to be successful. And to some people that can be very scary, just as equally to fear of failure. What happens when you are wildly successful? That's a flip of the same coin when you think about it. Just exploring all of these things and giving myself some time and space to sit with all of these things. It's interesting to connect the dots and find that at the roots of most of these things, it circles back to who we believe we are and what we want for ourselves and where we want to go and how can we separate ourselves from the world and other minds, other people, other influences. How can we show up in the world unaffected and marching to the beat of our own drum? How can we still do good in this world and give back and contribute all that we can while we can, and yet still feel proud of ourselves for all the things that we have done, that we do, and that we are. Just the act of being alive and existing in this world. I know I have had many conversations with dear loved ones who constantly remind me when I'm trying to overdo myself and try to get to the next thing I want to accomplish and the next thing, to ask myself, how would I feel if I never became something, or I never was something to somebody for some reason? Like, what if I was just here? And what if I was just me existing in this space and time, in this era? Would that be okay? And sometimes I have to bring it back to that root, that core of who we are in this body, in this gravity held down on this earth, in this huge galaxy that we call space and time, and start to realize that time is really irrelevant and that it's just a matter of time when it's our time to pass on and continue into a new dimension, a new reality. But while we're still here, why not get to know ourselves, get to know each other, and love and accept and find peace within us, instead of always trying to measure up and be this perfect person and find solace in making our mark on this world. Don't get me wrong, I still myself want to leave a legacy. I think that's just something that's naturally ingrained in us, to leave a mark in whatever way. But sometimes it's the way that we show up. It's not necessarily the things that we do. It's our presence. It's our command of how we show up in a room. It's just giving someone the time of day to be able to talk about something, or to just exist with you, to coexist together, to just be. And circling back to my original talk for the day, I'm just finding peace in being alive and grateful for another day. And with time moving so fast, or what it appears to feel like it's moving so fast, taking time to stop and smell the roses and look around and go for a walk which I was able to do finally today. Get outside, not be cooped up in an apartment, in a room, working from home, what have you. Like when you get a chance, just go explore, do something fun, discover a little piece of yourself, and know that you get a chance every day to come back to yourself, to reinvent yourself, to learn something new about yourself, to challenge yourself, to push through fear that you might have, to evolve and grow into the person that you were always meant to be. So, with that being said, finding peace and content in being alive and being you, being here together. There's nothing more beautiful than that. I'm really enjoying these daily talks. I think I'm going to continue to do these. Obviously, I want to challenge myself every day, 30 days, see what I can express and channel and convey. So I hope everybody's having a great week, great month, a great day. Before we see each other again, I want to ask y'all a question to get our minds going until we talk some more later. What do you want to learn about yourself or grow closer to in regards to yourself? What do you want to find more peace in? This life, this existence, your everyday encounters, interactions. What would you like to stop and take another second for? To smell the roses, to have more conversations with your loved ones, to spend more time with your kids, to pour into that craft that you've been always wanting to polish and develop. What is that for you? And with that, I will leave you until next time.